Well, hi, everybody, and welcome once again to the Furman Softball Weekly Windup. I am Dan Scott, the voice of the Paladins, with head coach Stacey Johnson-Whitfield. Softball program coming off of a 1-3 week, but that one win, as we're going to talk about, was a fairly significant one. And heading into the home stretch, the final series of the regular season is this weekend at Pepsi Stadium. I got it right this time. Against ETSU, which we'll talk about that coming up in just a bit as well. How are you?
Doing good.
You are the rare type of person who volunteers to record your show at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning.
Yes, I am.
Which is what we do on a regular basis.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm always up early. Like I said, with my kids, I'm up at 6:20 every day. So I like to get up, get moving, and get things done. So the earlier the better, and have it all done by the midday.
I don't know if you remember the old commercial that the United States Army used to run on television. This is probably back in the 80s and 90s, but the thing was we do more before 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. than most people do all day long.
Yes, exactly.
As a college coach with small children, you feel that pain, don't you?
Oh, yeah. That's a lot of times when I act, like today's our day off, so I'm doing things at home most of the day, but usually I take my kids to school by 7:30 and I go right into the office. So I'm in the office before anybody else even is probably in any of the administration buildings, I think, at that point.
Did that frighten people when you first got the job, that you were there before anybody else was?
I hope it didn't. I hope it just shows that I like to get my work done. Okay. So
let's talk about the week that was, and let's concentrate on the good first, because the one win in the 1-3 week, as I mentioned, was a significant one because it was over conference leader UNCG. It was on the road. It was their first conference loss of the season, and it snapped a 17-game regular season winning streak in conference that they had. And it was 5-3, I think, was the final score, right?
Yep. So I felt like we came out the first game in the first inning and just went at them. And, they're throwing their ace, Morgan Scott, who is a fantastic pitcher. But I felt like we showed no fear. We went right in. We put the ball in play. We did what we do well, and we got some runs out of that first inning. And I think we may have stunned them a little bit, and it is hard when you're undefeated in a season and a team comes in, and right now we're in third for the SoCon. It's hard to keep your team, I think, going sometimes in the thought process of not every team's just going to roll over because you're undefeated. And I think we stunned them. We came in and shocked them the first inning, and we stayed on them. Sierra, once again, threw a fantastic game against them. And our dugout, our dugout was so loud and cheering the whole time. It was like every single person in the dugout and on the field was in that game.
That was something that, as the father of a softball player that started in rec ball, went all the way through high school and won a state championship at Daniel a number of years ago. Coming from a baseball background, that's something I had to get accustomed to. The first time I went to a softball game and heard the cheering coming out of the dugout, I said, what in the world is this? But that is the fabric of the game, right?
It is. And every team's a little bit different. Some do cheers, some just won't stop talking. I think we're a mix of both. Some of our younger players make up cheers as the game goes on, which is funny to hear. And some people they don't stop talking. And I think that's part of the game for a lot of softball teams that may get overlooked as the importance of the momentum or the sway of the momentum. But I truly believe that when we play our best ball, our dugout is so loud that I can barely hear out of one ear by the time the game's over.
Was it like that for you as a player too?
Oh, yes. We made up our own cheers. We were very proud of our cheers at South Carolina. So that's why my voice is probably permanently damaged most of the time during season, because I still can't be quiet in the dugout.
So you talked about jumping on UNCG early. Then how's the dynamic of the game play out where you're able to hold on in the late innings?
I don't think we stopped. I stress to them, you jump out in one inning and you can't lay on those runs in order to win, especially since some of the bigger, better teams. And I felt we did a really good job of kept putting the ball in play and kept putting the pressure on, even if we weren't getting runs out of it. But then we did get a couple more runs as the innings went on, which shows that you're not just excited about scoring 2 runs and being done, but you're able to keep putting that pressure on them.
So that's obviously a big win, and your ladies are feeling, as they should, feeling very, very good after that win. You just knocked off, as we said, the number 1 team in the conference. First conference loss, 17-game winning streak out the window. And then, right? Something that we talked about last week, that the second game of these doubleheaders after big wins have been challenges for your team, and this time was more of the same.
Yeah. I think our team, we're young, and sometimes some of the players may lack a little bit of the maturity needed to mentally stay in those games. And our upperclassmen really try to get them to stay on it, but it obviously has been a struggle with us with doubleheaders. And they definitely got an earful after that second game from me. But all I could stress to them, I always say the same thing: compete. And everybody on here has probably heard me say it a million times, but that's what I ask of the team. You show up and you compete, and you put your jersey on, and you're deciding. When you put your jersey on, you're deciding to be a part of this family and a part of this team. And you have to know that your role might not be exactly what you thought it was going to be, but your role is still very important to our team's success. So I felt like after that talk that we had after the second game, I do believe that we came out Sunday, sorry, I don't know what day it is, Sunday, and really did play. I mean, we were up and down a little bit, but we did come out again on that first inning. We struggled after that, putting some balls in play and creating runs, obviously. But, I think it's just going to take a little bit of time as a young team, and it's something that they have to buy into. So it's just going to take a little bit.
Well, it takes learning, consistent effort, consistent mindset. And as we've talked about before, the only way to learn those things is to be right in the middle of them. It's not something you can take them into the locker room or wherever and draw it up on a chalkboard and say, this is how you do it. You can talk about it, but it's the practical application of learning it as it happens.
Oh, yes. And like I said, we're a young team. I feel like there's glimpses of us getting it, and then there's glimpses where it is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of comes with young team, new staff, trying to create the culture you want and getting everybody on that team and in your staff to buy into what that culture will be.
We are with Stacey Johnson-Whitfield. It is our Furman softball weekly wind-up. The regular season will wrap up this coming weekend here at Pepsi Stadium with a Saturday doubleheader beginning at 11 a.m. against ETSU, single game on Sunday, and then SoCon tournament play, which we'll be talking about moving forward. I want to transition before we talk about the upcoming series against ETSU very quickly. A couple of thoughts about the midweek game at Georgia, but then I want to talk about Dens Day a little bit. But let's talk about the midweek game at Georgia.
Well, Georgia was, I think, 14th in the nation when we were playing them, another SEC Power 5 team. We went into this one, same mentality as always, compete, but I chose to battle test some other pitchers. I knew that we would need Sierra for this past weekend and for the upcoming weeks, but I decided she has been battle tested and she's proved herself. So we needed to battle test some other ones. I've been looking for that number 2. And we started Emmy Buzzard, and she actually did a fantastic job. Once again, the one fat pitch seems to haunt us, which is she's a freshman, she's young, and against especially a team like Georgia, they're going to take advantage of that fat pitch, and they put it over the fence in a grand slam fashion. But other than that, I feel like she did a really good job. And then Bella Sear also came in. She did a great job. She's another freshman. She kind of kept them off balance a little bit. And our hitters were putting the ball in play. I mean, we drove out their starting pitcher. They brought another one in, then they brought another one in. And no matter who they brought in, we kept putting the ball in play. So after the game, actually, Tony Baldwin, the head coach for Georgia, he came up to me and he said, wow, your team really competes. And to me, that was like the biggest thing anybody could say, because that's what I'm trying to get our team, everybody to think of when they see our team. We're gritty and we compete with you.
So, having the benefit of almost a full year under your belt now in your first year as a collegiate head coach, moving forward, are you going to continue with this scheduling philosophy where you're going to take on these Power Fives in midweek on a regular basis?
Well, there will be always the teams I feel like that are going to be in our schedule, which are like Clemson, Carolina. Georgia's usually one. They're just ones that we've played out tradition every year. But this past year, coming in and kind of taking things over, we had semi of a schedule and then we had to fill the rest. So you kind of had to do what you could do. But this year we've already discussed we like those challenges, especially preseason. We like those challenges. Now, if we can make all those big, hard games more preseason, then when we get into SoCon, I think that would be more beneficial to us. But, we plan on playing maybe some more mid-major during the week, especially during season, but not necessarily making it an easier schedule, just making it one that I feel like will continue to make our team successful as we get into the most important part of our season.
Kind of tipping the balance a little bit. Yeah, I got you. All right, so let's talk about Dens Day, because also your first time going through that, and you issued a challenge with Coach Z. How much hair did he end up losing?
He lost right under 5 inches.
No kidding.
Yes, he did. Yes.
And he had plenty to lose, so it's not like he's going bald or anything.
Oh, no. We did have a couple people say how much to have him shave his head, and he was like, absolutely not. This is my thing. Hair is my thing. That's what he said. So
he put his hair above the program. Is that what you're telling me?
He did. It was great. I mean, Dens Day was really fun this year. I felt like I'm pretty sure it's the best softball's ever done in Dens Day with the amount of donations we had. It was somewhere around 100 donations, but I felt like there was more support this year in Dens Day than we've ever had. We plan on doing some more challenges, hopefully within the next one too. I think it intrigues people to want to donate and shows that how much we're willing to sacrifice for the team.
Just a bit of advice: don't get Andre Bernardi involved.
Oh. No, we won't do that. We're not doing burpees.
The strength and conditioning coach here. If you didn't see his challenges, go back on Furman social media last week and look at some of the things he and his staff were doing. Those people are insane.
There's no burpees for us. Those days are over for me.
But you felt the love from your fans and supporters?
Yes, I did. And I felt like we had a lot of people that weren't just like family. Our families are fantastic when it comes to the giving days. But we had a lot of like alumni donate, and some even of my alumni friends donating from South Carolina, which, they were fantastic also. But I stress to a lot of people, strong women supporting strong women. And I feel like that really did create like a ripple effect through our Dens Day and our donating. We got more money than could ever be thankful for, but I just felt like the amount of it and the amount of people that felt like giving even as little as $5 to our program because they thought our program was worth it and our team was worth that was great. It felt wonderful.
And just for those who may have donated, again, that money is going to be used for what?
Well, there's going to be a lot going on. We're
hoping a laundry list of things, right?
We're hoping to get some windscreen on our fence next year, make some things pop a little bit. It always helps with travel and meals and practice uniforms. So we've had a lot of donations this past year, and we're very grateful for that. That hopefully next year, we always try to let people see where it's going. I want them to know where that money's going, and it's not just sitting in nowhere land, that it's actually going to something. So hopefully within the next couple of months and through the summer, they'll see some improvements and see some things happening that we'll be able to show them.
And by the way, just because Dens Day was last Tuesday doesn't mean that you can't still stroke a check to the softball program, right? You'll take money every day of the year, right?
Well, we have a tier program set up that actually is like...
Imagine that.
I know. So it's like a base hit it's like $50. A base hit is for snacks for the team for one game. And then there's like a double and a home run. We named them like that. But each one specifically says what it would go to. And it goes all the way up to, I think, like $1,000 will help towards facilities. So I felt, and my staff felt like that was a great opportunity for people to be like, you know what, I want to donate a uniform. So I'm going to donate $250 to get their uniform. So they know exactly when they donate that money, exactly what it would go to, which I think is important for people when they're donating. You want to see your money being used to the benefit of the team. So we have that up, and it's actually on my Twitter. It's on our page and everything. You can click on it, and it will break down exactly what your donations could be for.
FurmanPaladins.com, Furman Women's Softball on Twitter, all the social media. You can find all of that stuff there. All right. Regular season finale this weekend at Pepsi Stadium. Mentioned doubleheader on Saturday starting at 11 a.m., single game on Sunday. ETSU coming in. You're sitting now at third place in the conference, 7-8 overall. And if you sweep this series, you can finish with a winning conference record.
Yes. I don't want to. I like to go one game at a time.
Well, see, I'm the media. I don't have to.
I know.
I can look ahead.
Yes. Yes, that is true. I mean, this weekend, it could very well go that way. But like I said, I don't want to ever go into a weekend automatically assuming we're going to win a game, play well, whatever. The great thing is that finals are pretty much done for our team tomorrow. And we have an entire week of prepping for the weekend, because I even told the team before that we have to go into this weekend not expecting that we're automatically going to win these games. ETSU, I think they only have 2 wins in SoCon right now, but they've been on the up and up. They've been battling a little bit. They've been giving some of the better teams a little run for their money through some of the games. So we still have to come out and play our best in order to win each of those 3 games.
You never assume, because you've heard that old saying, what happens when you assume.
Yes. No.
And I think you bring up a good point that we need to talk about before we wrap this up, that you played last weekend in the middle of finals.
Which has, from what I heard, has been notoriously a tough weekend for us. That's why coming out and also winning against UNCG that first game and establishing that win right away was great, because our girls are usually so mentally exhausted at that point. But that's why I love this week. Like, we're done early. They can focus on just softball after that, and go into the week, mentally and physically ready to go.
Senior weekend?
Senior weekend, yes. It's always a bittersweet weekend, but we have 4 great seniors on our team. We will definitely miss them as they go on their own way, but a lot of stuff going on over the weekend for them.
I talked about this last week with Kirkland Lewis on the in the Crease, the women's lacrosse program that we're doing. But you're in the same boat, first-year head coaches. So you did not recruit this senior class, but there's got to be a bond there, because they decided to hang around and buy into what you were doing after the changeover, and have, in a sense, helped lay the foundation for what you hope this future is going to be like. So even though you didn't recruit them, what's that bond like?
Like I said before in one of our interviews, I want them to be very proud of what's beginning here in my time here. So I feel like there's been a lot of conversations with some of those seniors, or just the upperclassmen in general, that this is what we want to establish here, and they're on board with that. They want that for this program too. So I feel like the bond I started creating that obviously last year as I came in as the pitching coach at the mid-year, but being the head coach and being able to work with all of them a lot more I think that I've created a trust with them. Like, they really do buy into the fact that I care about them as a person and not just an athlete. And to me, that was the most important first step.
Right.
It's like, they know that I care. And they do. And I think they're really excited for where the program's going, and to be proud of something, even after they graduate. And hopefully, as they come back into alumni things, or just come back on a regular, keep in touch, that I can keep making them proud of the program that they started to create.
Well, you'll get a chance to honor them this weekend, as we mentioned, to close out the regular season. And next Monday, we'll be talking about not only that, but looking ahead to SoCon play.
Yeah, we'll find out our seating in SoCon and who we're playing and everything else. So it should be an exciting week next week.
Good stuff. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Let's go have a big week. That's always the plan, right?
Yes, always.
Always the plan. Just have to go out and execute. That has been this week's edition of the Softball Weekly Windup here at Furman. I'm Dan Scott. That is Stacey Johnson-Whitfield. We will see you again next time. Until then, God bless you, and so long, everybody.